Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Kansali Shadiandra.
My name is Aldrin Sharashid.
My name is Aulia Triwardani.
My name is Kintana Kilana Aurelia.
My name is Muhammad Farel Abigail.
My name is Muhammad Al-Ghifari.
Today we are going to talk about Newton's three laws and its application. Next. Any everyday object can be applied with Newton's three laws, such as a box on the ground, a reindeer on a sleigh, or an elevator going up or down with each forces in particular. Isaac Newton is one of the most popular physicists around the world. In 1687, Newton published his book called Principia, which contained his ideas of motion, and most of them are new. In the book, he explained his three laws of motion. Newton's first law highlighted inertia, which is an object's tendency to keep doing what it's doing. This law is also familiar with law of inertia. It stated that an object in motion will remain in motion, an object in rest will remain in rest, unless acted upon by a force. This law is saying that to move an object, you need to put force to it, or can also be called acceleration. To have acceleration, we need to have a net force. Next. This law connects to the second law, which stated that net force is equal to mass times acceleration, or F net equals to ma. So the acceleration of an object depends on the mass of an object and the amount of the forces or net force applied. It is important to remember that net force is the amount of forces left over once you've added together all the forces that might cancel each other out. Next. Imagine a puck in an ice rink without friction. If you push it, which means you're giving force to it, it will move unless it is interrupted. If it's interrupted, it will stop moving, and then all of the forces will be balanced out. When the forces of an object are balanced out, then it's called equilibrium. An object that is in equilibrium can still be moving, like the sliding puck before, but its velocity won't be changing. Next. One of the most common net force making something moving is called gravitational force. Gravitational force, or as we like to call it Fg, is always pulling down on an object. Let's say we have a ball weighing 2 kilograms and throw it up in the air. The force of gravity is pulling down on the ball, accelerating downward at a rate of 9.81 meter second squared, or as we like to call it small g. As the second law stated, the net force is equal to m times a. In this case, the net force is gravitational force because it is the only forces acting on the ball. So we can calculate the gravitational force as Fg equals mg, or g to 2 kilograms times 9.81 meter per second squared equals to 19.62 kilograms times m meter per second squared, or 19.62 Newton. Gravitational force is also known as weight, which is different from mass. Mass units is kilogram, Fg unit is Newton.
Next, I'm going to tell you about normal force and Newton's third law. We already knew the concept of gravitational force before, but if we want to calculate a net force on the object, we usually have to take into account more than just gravity. One of the forces explained by Newton's third law. It states that when two bodies interact, the forces on the bodies from each other are always equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. This law represents a certain symmetry in nature, that force always occur in pairs and one body cannot exert a force on another without experiencing of a force itself. Next. Okay, normal force is one of it. Normal force is a contact force that exerted by surface to prevent solid objects from passing through each other. Normal in this instance means perpendicular, and it always perpendicular to whatever surface your object is resting on. For example, next. When you put a book down on the table, the normal force is pushing and therefore pointing up. But if we put the book on the ramp, then the normal force is pointing perpendicular to the ramp, just like in the picture. Next. Then why we are able to move things. Basically, things can move because there is more going on than just the action and reaction forces. We can see the illustration in this picture. The swimmer pushes against the pool wall with her feet and accelerates in the direction opposite to that of her push. The wall has exerted an equal and opposite force back on the swimmer. In this case, there are two systems that we could investigate, the swimmer or the wall. If we select the swimmer to be the system of interest as in the image below, then F wall on feet is external force on this system and affect its motion. And then the reaction of her push is thus in the desired direction. Next. The first thing to do to solve this problem is draw a free body diagram. First, you have to draw a raw outline of the object. Put a dot in the middle. Then draw label row to represent all the forces. We also have to decide which direction is positive. In this case, we will choose up to be positive. There is a row pointing down representing the force of gravity, and a row pointing up representing the force of the ground pushing back on the box. Since the box is staying still, we know that it is not accelerating, which tells us those forces are equal. So the net force is equal to 0.
Okay. Wait a minute. All right. So what we got here is an example where the end result of the Newton is not 0, where in this instance we have an elevator going down, and it is attached to a pulley, and also the pulley is also attached to a counterweight. And in hope that when we let go of the elevator will not hit the ground too hard or slow down the acceleration towards the ground. In this case, we have the elevator on the left. So this blue thing is the elevator. We can calculate it as F equals T minus mass times gravitational acceleration. And the T here stands for tension, and tension is exerted by the rope that is attached to the pulley. And the same tension is also applied here in the next in the other equation. And in this equation we have the T minus the mass of the counterweight times the gravitational acceleration. And also we know that all of this can be made into F equals mass times acceleration, and the acceleration that is being done is going to be the acceleration which is coming from the elevator going down. And in this case we're going to use as up as a positive and down as a negative. So in this case we have right here m times a, m times the acceleration of the elevator, and it's going to be all the same because the acceleration is of the counterweight, and acceleration of the elevator can be calculated as such in the right of the picture here. Mass times acceleration equals T minus mass times gravitational acceleration. And then because we have the same T over here, T is the let me do this. I'm gonna draw something. T is the tensional force that is exerted by the rope. As you can see, the rope is going to be exerted here the same force, and so we can put it using normal algebraic rules, so that T equals the other mg and ma, and so we can put it in an equation like this: mg minus mg of m. Dread m represents the weight of the mass of the elevator, and the gray m represents the mass of the counterweight. So we get here mg minus mg equals ma, a which is the acceleration that we are going to find, and by using normal mathematic rules, we can simplify it to a equals g times m minus m divided by m plus m. So in this case, the elevator will be moving down, and to find that, we're going to use all of this equation right here. In which case, at the end of the day, the net force is not going to be equal to 0, because it is going down by the elevator going down. And as you can see right here on the below here, it is a, which is acceleration, times g and mass. So it's mass times so it's the mass of the equation times the gravitational acceleration, and we will get the acceleration that is being done by the elevator. All right, so next we're going to have some example for the Newton's law. I'm going to put this next. Whoever going to do the next example, please.
So I have some problem in here, but I will explain it with bahasa so you can understand it easily. Jadi ada sebuah roket yang memiliki roket seluncur, kereta luncur roket gitu, yang memiliki massa 500 kg dengan kecepatannya itu 1.600 km per jam dengan kecepatan 1,8 second. Terus yang ditanya di sini adalah berapa gaya yang dibutuhkan. Nah, karena di sini kecepatannya dia menggunakan kilometer per jam, kita harus ngerubahnya dulu ke meter per sekon, karena kan tadi yang diketahui bahwa waktunya itu dalam keadaan sekon. Maka dihasilkanlah kecepatan dalam bentuk meter per sekonnya sebanyak 444 meter per sekon. Lalu kemudian kita masukkan ke hukum Newton yang kedua, yaitu F sama dengan M kali A. Nah, A-nya ini bisa kita rubah menjadi V atau kecepatan dibagi waktu. Maka kita akan menghasilkan rumus seperti ini, 500 dikali 444 dibagi 1,8 sekon sama dengan 1,2 dikali 10 pangkat 5 Newton. And then number 2. Jadi di sini itu ada sebuah benda yang ditarik oleh seseorang dengan sebuah tali dengan massa yang berbeda. Massa setiap bendanya itu berbeda dengan tali yang diikatkan dari satu benda ke benda yang lain. Nah, pertanyaannya adalah kita harus mencari percepatan dan juga tension di yang pertama ini dan tension yang kedua. Apabila tension ketiganya juga sudah diketahui di sini, yaitu 65 Newton. Nah, dapat kita ketahui bahwa tension nomor 3 ini dia itu menarik dari massa yang pertama, kedua, dan ketiga. Maka massa total dari tension ketiga ini adalah massa dari sistem. Nah, kita ketahui kalau sigma F sama dengan M kali A. Nah, karena kita mau bahas di T3 aja, maka T3 sama dengan M sistem dikali A. Maka kita dapatkan A-nya itu 0,97 meter per sekon kuadrat. Nah, ini yang pertama. Pertanyaan B-nya adalah kita diperintahkan untuk mencari tension yang pertama. Nah, karena percepatan itu di setiap bendanya sama, tidak berubah, maka kita bisa menuliskan bahwa T1 sama dengan M1 dikali A. Karena massa dari T1 ini, massa yang ditarik oleh T1 itu hanya massa benda pertama. Maka di soal diketahui bahwa massa benda pertama itu adalah 12 kg, maka M1 T1 sama dengan M1 dikali A, yaitu 12 kg dikali percepatan yang tadi kita sudah dapatkan yang di A, yaitu 0,97 meter per sekon kuadrat, maka dihasilkan T1 sebesar 11,6 Newton. Kemudian sama halnya seperti T1, T2 ini menarik massa kedua dan massa pertama. Untuk itu, untuk mencari T kedua, maka rumusnya adalah total massanya dikali dengan percepatan. Nah, massa kedua juga sudah diketahui totalnya yaitu 24 kg, maka T2 itu sama dengan 12 kg ditambah dengan 24 kg, total massa yang ditarik dikalikan dengan percepatannya yaitu 0,97, maka dihasilkan T2 sebesar 34,9.
Contoh soal selanjutnya adalah ada sebuah mobil berjalan dengan kecepatan 53 km per jam di sebuah jembatan. Setelah kita baca lengkap soalnya, maka dapat diketahui bahwa kecepatan awal mobil sebesar 53 km per jam, lalu kita ubah menjadi meter per sekon, yaitu jadi 14,72 meter per sekon. Lalu jaraknya juga diketahui sebesar 0,65 meter. Dan di sini dibilang bahwa while being brought to rest by an airbag. Berarti artinya mobil itu akan berhenti, ya maknanya kecepatan akhirnya 0 dan massa penumpangnya adalah 41 kg. Di soal ini kita diminta untuk mencari magnetic force-nya. Dari persamaan hukum kedua Newton diketahui bahwa rumus gaya itu adalah F sama dengan M dikali A. Tapi kita belum mendapatkan besaran percepatan di sini, sehingga percepatan bisa kita cari menggunakan rumus V kuadrat sama dengan V0 kuadrat ditambah 2AX, sehingga kita temukan A-nya sebesar min 166,675. Setelah kita menemukan besaran A-nya, maka bisa kita masukkan ke rumus F yang M kali A, yaitu 41 dikali min 166,675. Seharusnya hasilnya negatif, tapi karena yang diminta gaya, maka gaya tidak ada negatif. Maka boleh kita ubah menjadi positif, yaitu sebesar 6.833,67 Newton. Next. Soal selanjutnya, jadi di kasus soal ini tuh kayak ada lift yang bergerak turun dengan massanya 1.600 kg. Dia turun dengan kecepatan 12 meter per sekon dan jarak akhirnya adalah 42 meter. Sehingga kita diminta untuk mencari besarnya tegangan tali di sini. Kita bisa menggunakan rumus tegangan tali, yaitu T dikurang W sama dengan M dikali A. Nah, T dikurang M kali G sama dengan M kali A itu didapat dari persamaan hukum Newton, yaitu sigma Fy sama dengan M dikali A. Tapi sama halnya kayak seperti yang tadi, di sini kita belum mendapatkan nilai percepatannya, sehingga bisa kita cari dengan menggunakan rumus yang sama, yaitu rumusnya V kuadrat sama dengan VO kuadrat plus 2AS. Kenapa di sini jaraknya negatif? Karena di sini itu yang digunakan adalah jarak kayak perpindahan jarak itu kayak jarak pertamanya 0, sementara jarak akhirnya 42, sehingga delta S-nya sebesar 0 dikurang 42, yaitu min 42. Kita masukin angkanya dan menemukan percepatannya sebesar 1,714 meter per sekon kuadrat. Setelah kita menemukan percepatannya, baru kita bisa menggunakan persamaan T sama dengan MA ditambah MG. Bisa kita keluarkan M-nya jadi T sama dengan M dikali G plus A. Kita masukin jadi 1.600 dikali 9,81 besaran G ditambah 1,714 besaran A. Sehingga kita peroleh gaya tegangan talinya sebesar 18,44 kN. Next.
Okay, final example. I took this from a very good book, which is The Fundamentals of Physics by Halliday and Resnick, chapter 5, problem number 78. In figure 5 to 64, a force F of magnitude 12 Newton is applied to a FedEx box of mass M2 equals 1.0 kilograms. The force is directed up a plane tilted by theta, which is equal to 37 degrees, and the box is connected by a cord to a UPS box of mass M1 equals 3.0 kilograms on the floor. The floor, plane, and pulley are frictionless, and the masses of the pulley and the cord are negligible. What is the tension in the cord? Okay, to answer this, we have to answer it easily, we have to use what we call a free body diagram. So we have to identify the forces that are working in the system using a free body diagram. Okay, this is the UPS box, I believe, which is the M1, and then this is the FedEx box, which is the M2. Okay, before we continue, we have to identify what information we receive from the question. Okay, first, force F with the magnitude of 12. 12 is equal to 12 Newton. Second, the mass of the FedEx box, the M2, is equal to 1 kilogram. Third, the theta, 37 kilogram, 37 degree, and then the mass of the UPS box, which is M1, is equal to 3 kilograms. Okay, what do question ask here? Question: what is the tension of the cord, the T? To answer it, we have to identify which forces and what forces that contributes to the net magnitude of the force. Let's look at the first box, the UPS box. Since this is since the system has a force magnitude, hence we can assume that the system here is moving at a constant rate. So since it is moving at a constant rate, it has an acceleration, but we don't know that yet. But we can assume that it has an acceleration. So the acceleration has a value. In Indonesian, we call it dapat. Okay. Oh yeah. Also, the floor, the plane, and pulley are frictionless. So we can set aside the mu's and the resistance, whatever. Okay. Identify the forces first. On the M1, we can see that there's a cord here, or in Indonesian we call it tali, that pulls the UPS box. Since the cord pulls the UPS box, it has a tension. So we can say that the cord here has a tension, a force tension, and a tension is also considered a force. Since the system here is moving with a constant acceleration, we can set aside the normal force, which is usually present here, and the weight, which is usually present here. We can set aside those two. Okay, let's continue to the next box, which is the FedEx box. What forces and what sort of forces that are working there? It is said that we have an F here. Okay, let's drag an F. We also have a T, since the cord there also pulls the box. So it has tension. Oh yeah, and there's a theta here. Like I have said previously, this system is moving at a constant rate with an acceleration, so we can put aside the weight and the normal force. And since it is a moving system, we use the second Newton law, which is F magnitude equals m times a. This is the basis for all equations. Okay, using this equation, we have to identify which forces that are working there, apply and subtract those forces to this equation. Okay, the first box, the ES box, we only have T, so let's just put T there, T. And the mass of the UPS box, which is M1, is 3. Since the satuan is not important, so I just put it that 3 value. And the value of A is, it's, we don't have the specific value, but let's just assume that we have an A. I'll just put there, A. This is the first equation. Second, this equation. The FedEx box has an F force and a T force. So let's just put it on the magnitude of the force, which is F minus T equals M2, which is 1 kilogram times 8 second. Also, you have to understand that the F here is moving on a 37-degree angle slope, or what we call here plane. Therefore, we have to adjust the F that is working on the system using simple trigonometry, and we will have the value of F, the adjusted F is equal to F sin theta. Okay, F sin theta minus T equals A. What is the value of F? We have here that the value of F is equal to 12 Newton, and sinus of 37, is 3/5. So let's just make it a decimal, 0.6 minus T equals 8. We have the value of the total of the adjusted F, which is F sin theta, which is 7.2 minus T equals 8. We understand from the first equation that T is equal to 3A. So let's just subtract the number to the second equation, which is 7.2 minus T, which is 3A equals 8. So let's finish the equation first. And we will receive the value of A, which is 7.2/4, which is 1.8 meters per second. This is the value of A. How about the value of T? Since we understand from the first equation again, T is equal to 3 times A, then we will receive the value of T by multiplying 3 with A, which has the value of 1.8. And at the end of the day, the end result, the value of T is 5.4 Newton. That is the tension of the core. I guess that's all from us. Thank you for viewing this video. I hope this can bring you new information about the Newton's laws and its application on real life. I hope that you can understand us clearly. We say sorry if there's any mistakes that we made during our presentation here. That's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.